have the 6447, and this is the channel of abstraction and the design of mental activity mixed with clarity. The 64 is before completion and the gate of confusion, and it's a head center gate, which is the yellow upward pointing triangle at the top of the body graph. And then 47 is oppression and the gate of realization, and then it is an Ajna Center gate, which is the downward pointing green triangle. And the 6447 is always under pressure, sifting through kaleidoscopic mental images from every experience, even dreams. And it's trying to make sense out of the past and gain perspective. And it's seeking a story to share about their life from someone else, from this lifetime, or perhaps another.
It's the funniest thing because this one, it's totally aside and away from motors, the solar plex, and there's no energy here. Yet it feels incredibly energized because that pressure never stops. So if you've got this channel, you're supposed to keep thinking about stuff, and it's an abstract process of constantly putting little things together, maybe this with this, maybe that with that, until you come to these eureka little moments of types of realization that seem really profound, and they are. This thing needs to be, let me share my constant mental foray into this thing with you. Let me share my mental activity with you. And if you can't share it, and if they can't get through it, then 47's name that was given by the I Ching, by the masters themselves, was called oppression. They didn't call this the gate of realization. They called it the gate of oppression. And for good reason, because it's oppressive. I mean, it's literally oppressive. If the pressure coming in from 64, the pressure to be confused, is not mired into something that it feels like thinking about, if it gets caught off guard and thinks it needs to know everything when it's an abstract process that technically knows nothing except once in a while. This is a deep within the deep, much like the 48 and the 18 work. You know, the 18 and the 48, 18 drips constant corrections into the 48, and the 48 becomes deeper and deeper as a well, and it's a measured process. This is pressure keeps showing up and pressure keeps showing up, and then 47 suddenly realizes something once in a while, and it has a great deal of depth in this experiential process. And just like the 36, it's nervous that it won't get through the confusion, and so suddenly you throw confusion at this thing. If it's not ready for it, it's oppressive, and they avoid it, don't want to do it, can't, mental anxiety comes here. Mental anxiety of it's too much. Just realize you're designed to think a whole ton of stuff. Find something that captures your imagination, and it's okay to be a little bit obsessive about it. 1, 2, 3, go. Not many people have the activation up here, right? This is the least active center, the head center for sure. It's got the least possibilities for activation and the least centers pointing at it. So when you add all that up, only 30% of the population, if even, 30% of the population will have definition from the head to the ajna. That means this level and type of thinking is very important. Whoever's got this, keep doing it. If people tell you think too much, correct them and see if they still appreciate you that way. And if they don't, you got a really good clue as to who's not for you. And when they do, you got an even better clue as to who is for you. And just that little piece of advice alone could weed out so much tension in a person's life just tomorrow, starting tomorrow, that is. Abstract it is, putting stories together. It's not meant to be oppressive. It's a giant thinker. It never shuts off. It's the primary channel of dreaming. This is where the abstract notion of did you remember your dream shows up. Yeah. And it gets all assembled and put back together through here. The assembly here leads into the story that 33 ended up telling, the history it combined and the synthesis it put together to create a tapestry of a history that totally tells the story, pictures included. And the pictures for it very much are up here in this channel. Gobs and gobs of them, adding colorful explanations to various things you're trying to say about something, and adding lots of color to it.
Yeah, I really love the description of the 6447, as that 64 is like having like movie clips and visual images just popping through. And then the 47 is the editor and how they're going to put it together. And so much of it is this aspect. It's a mindset, right? Like you can take raw video footage and how you edit that. You can make that a romantic love story, or you can make it like a slasher horror or like a slapstick comedy, you know, add some different music, cut it up in a different way, and how you're putting those pieces together. So, you know, maybe pay attention to your perspective on things, because so much of life is your perspective, you know, like it can be the best day or the worst day. And sure, sometimes legit things happen that could really affect you. But overall, if you're just like, you know what, it's weird, but I'm going to look at that silver lining, and you could lift yourself up that way. So
Yep.
realize that you do have a sense of empowerment with how you're deciding to perceive something, right? Like you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to it. You can control how you perceive it. And so this 47 could be oppressive, or it could be very empowering, right? Like
It,
depending on how you choose to look at it and how you process those images and edit them together.
it's wicked insightful. This gate, these two gates in this channel. It's wicked, wicked insightful. It's never really meant to turn off, by the way. So that it's just an important part about it all. And that editor, as it gets through the confusion, much like all the other emotional channels that I keep pointing out, all the stuff in the abstract circuit says, hey, when you feel the confusion or the pressure or the sense of this is oppressive, let that start to inform what you'll do next. If it's too oppressive, move away from it and see if you wanted to get back and clear that up later, because you might very well be totally into it. It's just you had to move away for now. And it also lets you know as soon as that pressure starts coming in, you're about to get smarter. The rule of cycles: decline never endures, and oppression will never endure until you obsess upon it as something that is bad. Then it will, and off to the talk doctor you go and stuff like that, medicines and so forth. Nope, nope, nope. Just realize that you have a powerful mental process. It's not meant to turn off, and start to enjoy that. I love mine. As soon as I get confused, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to learn something new soon. It's coming. And I'm just happy talking to myself and thinking all day long. And it's a perfect place for me. I have this channel. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Confusion is the first step to realization.
Yep. So go figure. I mean, what a logical thing to say, too. Confusion is the first step to realization.
Which is
I
funny. It's
say,
logical, but it's not a logical channel.
and it's not a logical process other than you look at it and it happens the same way. So logically, you can call it out. Yep.
Perfect. All right.